Have you closed maybe one, two, or three homes, or maybe you've even reached 100K, but you can't seem to get back there? Chances are you're making one, two, or even all three of these mistakes. And it's not because you're lazy or unmotivated. So you feel like you're doing the right activities, but your business isn't moving forward. In today's episode, I'm breaking this down so you can start shifting your focus today and finally start building momentum in your business. Are you tired of feeling like you're doing all the things as a real estate agent but still not seeing consistent results? Well, that ends right now. Welcome to the Profitable Real Estate Agent, the show for agents who are ready to stop winging it and start building a profitable and sustainable business. This season, we're going to cut through the noise and focus on exactly what it takes to make 100K as a real estate agent, without the guesswork, without the overwhelm, and without wasting time on things that don't move the needle in your business. I'm pulling back the curtain on the exact framework that took me from my first 100K to 500K to building a seven-figure business. So if you haven't hit 100K yet, or you struggle with inconsistency, don't worry, I've got you covered. It's time to take action. Let's get to work. All right, let me ask you, are you putting in the hours, doing what you think you're supposed to be doing, but still not making the money that you want? You are not alone. And I hear this all the time. But Vanessa, I'm posting on social media. I'm following up with my leads. I'm hosting open houses, calling my sphere. And now you're wondering, is this going to work for me? If that is you, it doesn't mean you're not going to build a successful business or that you don't have what it takes. But this is what it does mean. It means you've got to take a closer look on what's actually going on instead of creating stories in our heads. Because in most cases, it does come down to these few core mistakes, and these are often overlooked. So let's dig in. Mistake number one, you don't have a clear lead generation plan. So and what this really means is you don't know where your next client is coming from. Maybe you wake up and decide, I'll post on social media today. I'll just do one open house this month or call my sphere maybe on Monday. Is that you? This is not a plan. A real plan is knowing what activities you're going to do every single day to generate business. This is a not just like when you feel like it situation. And let me share what happened when one of the agents I worked with actually followed through on this. And he came into my office a few months ago. I actually met him over a year ago when I built out the agent boot camp, which is now my roadmap to 100K program. And I said to him, I said, you're doing amazing. What changed? And he said, it was the class on lead generation that you taught. And you said, build a plan from the very beginning. And this is what stuck in my brain. And I stayed consistent with it. And it is so great to see him on his way to 100K. But here's what's even better. Now he knows what he needs to do to grow beyond 100K. He's got the framework to do so. So here's your action step. We're going to pick 3 lead gen strategies to focus on. Now, if you need help, check the show notes. I've got a download there for you. But it doesn't stop at just picking the strategies. We've got to have a plan for each. What are you doing? How often are you doing it? What does it look like every single week? Now, if you haven't yet, go back and listen to episode 4, and I walk you through exactly how to structure your lead generation plan. And here's what I think I want to explain to you is I teach the 3 lead gen strategy approach for a reason. But if you've only got one for now, that is totally fine. Do not wait to get all 3 to take action because the others will come to you. I just don't want you relying on one source forever because if the market slows down or we have to pivot, if you've got all your eggs in one basket, your business is going to slow down too. Here's what your takeaway is. Consistent income comes directly from consistent lead generation. Mistake number 2, you are winging your day. If you're waking up every single day and asking, what should I do today? You are already behind. And I get it. You got into real estate because you wanted the freedom, the flexibility, make your own schedule, work whenever you want. But here's the thing. This is not how you build a business. Winging it never works. Think about any top producer agent or any entrepreneur or athlete. Do you think Michael Jordan said, I think I'll go to the gym today and practice making baskets? This is not what he did. He was the first to arrive and the last to leave. He had a plan. He knew what he was eating, when he practiced, when he went to bed. He knew everything from like the time he woke up to the time he went to bed every single day. So ask yourself, do you have a Michael Jordan schedule? If not, let's fix that. Now, I did break this down in detail in episode 13, but here's just a very quick high level overview. You've got to make sure you not only have a set wake up time every morning, but you have a consistent time every day that you go into the office, even if you work from home. You've got to time block those fundamentals. Those are your income producing activities first and foremost on your calendar. Remember your lead gen, which we just talked about, following up with your leads, practicing your conversations, going on appointments, and executing agreements. This is what creates an intentional schedule, not a reactive one. Because I don't want you to think of structure as a restriction, but it is how you create freedom and results. Hey, a real quick pause before we go deeper. If you're listening right now and thinking, I want a clear plan to finally reach 100K, then check out my signature program. It's my step-by-step framework for real estate agents who are ready to stop winging it and start building real results. Inside, you're going to learn the exact fundamentals to build the foundation to hitting 100K. We're going to cover everything from mastering your buyer and seller consultations to building your database and delivering a 5-star client experience and everything in between. You're going to get access to my scripts, templates, and checklists. Plus, we're going to have coaching, accountability, and support so you never feel alone. Click on the link in the show notes now to join the roadmap to 100K. All right, let's take you back to the episode. Mistake number 3, you don't know or track your numbers. Now, talking about money, I know makes many people uncomfortable, but the growth starts there in that uncomfortableness. I don't know if that's a word, but I love it. We're going to go with it, uncomfortableness. And this was a lesson that took me a long time to learn as well. I know I say that a lot. There are a lot of lessons that took me a long time to learn, which is why I'm here, because I don't want you to make the same mistake I did. And not knowing your numbers or tracking can keep you stuck. And it's not just under 100K. If you've made 100K and maybe you're working your way to 250 or 500 or 7 figures, this is non-negotiable. Because the reality is you could be showing up every day, posting, calling, not following up. But if you don't know your numbers, how do you know how many conversations you actually need to have to meet your goal? Do you know your numbers enough to know how much time to spend on lead generation or following up? How many of those calls do you need to make? How many follow-up connections do you need to make? This is the importance of knowing your numbers. And then if you're not tracking it, how do you know what's not working? And where do you focus your time and energy? So here's what I want you to start doing today. Start tracking. How many conversations are you having each day? This is going to include calls, texts, maybe social media DMs, but it has to be two-way. This isn't, oh, I message 10 people. If they're not conversing back with you, this is not a conversation. Okay, so just sending a message or sending a one-way text does not count in my book. Two-way conversations. Next, I want you to track how many appointments you're going on a week. Again, this all ties back to how many appointments do you need to make 100K to meet your goal. This means it needs to be blocked with another human being. This is face-to-face, Zoom, or can even be a phone appointment. Now, there are many numbers to track here, and I'm not going to go into detail here specifically because this is really kind of its own episode, but I really want you to start with these two because conversations are going to lead to an appointment, okay? And appointments lead to agreements, which lead to eventually the closing table. So these are all the necessaries, the fundamentals, the income producing activities. Everything falls into place as we move through this podcast. And as we move through each episode, you're going to start connecting the dots. Now, I want to give you a quick bonus mistake before we wrap up today, because this is not tactical. It's not on your to-do list. It's not something you're going to see on your calendar. But this is really, really important because even if you fix the other 3 mistakes, this one can quietly undo it all. Because maybe you are showing up, maybe you know your numbers, you're tracking your numbers, but you're still not seeing the results. You've got to ask what else is going on. And you can have that right strategies. You can have everything there, right? Like I said. But if you are filled with doubt in yourself, belief in yourself, that little voice inside your head that says, see, it's still not working. You're never going to be successful. Even if you know all the stuff I've gone over, this is what's going to hold you back. So let's talk about a shift. What are some shifts that you can make on this little voice inside our head that tells us we can't do it? Because I've heard that voice, I don't know how many times over my career, over my lifetime, but I have put an end to it because it's all about training our brain, right? Celebrating the wins, telling ourselves what's possible. So instead of saying, reiterating what that voice is saying, we want to say, hey, this is working, right? I'm showing up. I'm doing the work. I'm tracking my numbers. I know what my numbers are, but I'm just not seeing results yet. I'm building a business. I'm not chasing quick wins, right? We have little wins, but we're not chasing that. That's not the purpose. Success comes from consistency, not overnight results, right? Did Michael Jordan make it to the top overnight? No, right? Any entrepreneur, any successful business person has not made it to the top overnight. It comes with that consistency. So this is what I want you to start training your brain on, and start telling yourself when you start seeing that little voice creep in that says it's not working, you'll never be successful. Again, this is why I call it the quiet mistake, okay? Because it's not anything that's tangible. It doesn't show up on our calendar. But be mindful that this will creep in from time to time. Whether you're at 100K, 250K, 7 figures, doesn't matter. We can have that little voice inside our head. So I just want to give you some encouragement there. You've got this. Go out and take action on something I covered today. Come to my IG page, right? Follow me on social media. Share with me, send me a DM, share with me your win. What are you implementing from today's episode? I want to hear from you. Bye for now. Success as a real estate agent comes down to a decision to show up, take action, and stay committed. So don't just listen. Apply what you learned today and put it into motion. If you need help getting started, I want you to grab my free 60 lead gen strategy guide so you can start finding the right lead gen strategies that'll work for you. And if you're a motivated, ambitious agent who's ready to hit 6 figures, join my Roadmap to 100K program. You'll find both links in the show notes. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with a fellow agent and leave me a 5-star rating and review, as it helps more agents just like you find the show. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time on The Profitable Real Estate Agent.